Court.
Lovely.
And good morning, Paul Davey. How are you?
Oh, very, very good. Thank you very much. It's a bit peculiar talking to you via the internet like this, but I always love our chats when you come into the salon, and I always love catching up with you. You're a huge inspiration to me, though. I mean, after the TED Talk, and to listen to that journey that you went on with TED was pretty remarkable.
I do remember telling you a story that I haven't told too many people about my TED Talk, which I still haven't gone public about. But anyway, just to introduce you briefly, because for anybody who doesn't, because you're so such a humble person. You're very bad at selling it. Well, not very bad at selling yourself, but you won't say all the fabulous things that you're fabulous at. So first of all, this is my favorite bit, because you're probably one of the best hairdressers in Ireland, if not one of the best hairdressers in Europe. Am I right? If not one of the best hairdressers in the world. Is that a bit of a stretch? No, I don't think so.
Look, I mean, there's some amazing, talented hairdressers out there, which I'm looking to be able to collaborate with, actually, on many levels.
I know that, but you're certainly up there with the greats. And it's funny, when I knew I was going to chat with you, I decided I don't normally research people, but I thought, oh God, I better look to see it all. And I was looking at your list. Well, first of all, you're the owner of Davey Davey in Dublin. And I was looking at your list of stuff like Elle Magazine, Cosmopolitan, Martin Scorsese, the Cannes Film Festival. Like, it was just an endless list of like megastars. I mean, really, not that I didn't realize that when I go into you, but jeepers, Paul. I mean, it is you're in a different level of hairdressing altogether. Really, aren't you?
Oh, well, no, I appreciate that. It's almost become. I mean, it's kind of a it's a journey that you go on, and you don't really map it out. I mean, we get phone calls to. Do you know what it is, actually? Just to go back before I go to what I'm about to say, is you. When you open doors in life, I mean, I've always kind of said a lot of yeses to people. I've always gone, yes, I'll do that. And I think that has a remarkable ripple effect in your life, because the more you say no, the doors get closed around you. And I've always said yes to lots and lots of things throughout my youth. I say a lot more no's now, don't get me wrong, as I've gotten a little bit older. But when you're younger, I think you're at an age where you can just absorb everything and say yes to a lot of things. And what that does, it rubs shoulders with huge amounts of people. And people who are at the same sort of age as you, or in the same environment as you, like stylists, makeup artists, photographers, you all grow together. Yes. And they get new jobs and new positions, so they take their teams with them. And it's a remarkable, so it opens doors on many, many levels. So for me, I mean, to work with, Bruce Springsteen, when, his wife comes over, and to look after those, get a call whenever they needed hair doing, Neil Diamond, they come over. It's like, it just opens up so many doors when people arrive in Ireland. Or for instance, Martin Scorsese was in Cannes Film Festival. It's a long way away from them over in LA. They're based out in LA. So when they come over to Europe, they get somebody, a kind of local, if you like, but we're in Europe and it's a flight away. But so we looked after their entourage of people whenever they come over,
Fantastic. I was looking at your hairdressing live thing, your chats you were doing it's all with hairdressers, Paul, was it?
It's all professionally based, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons why we set that up was I'm fascinated by opportunity. That there's a great deal of opportunity, and even still right now in this current climate, there's if you take a screenshot of today, there's going to be so many people emerge, so many successful businesses, so many successful people emerge on the back end of this. When we were setting up Hairdressing Live 4 years ago, I could see a transition with communicating via lives, huge amount of, fashion shows. Victoria Beckham was streaming her live catwalk shows. Apple were distributing their message globally through lives, so people could sit in live audiences. Loads of techie companies, can I say, not to be specific with one techie company, but there's technology companies were communicating via streaming, live streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at our industry, and our industry wasn't doing that. And, you know, it's for somebody to take stock. I mean, even like in today's market, people to take stock and go, well, if that's not happening, why don't you do it? You know, why don't why don't you say, oh, well, this isn't happening? You find you find a problem and find the solution for it. So we went through and tried to find the solution. We went through about 8 months trying to solve how to adapt it and how to do it. And that's what we wanted to do, and bring our industry into a hub where people can communicate. We can distribute education to them, you know, in the comfort of their own home, workplace, or even if they're, you know, moving around on their phones, they can watch it on their phones. That was the ultimate plan.
Well, tell me this, your message say now, you've obviously, you're at the very hard end of COVID, because obviously everybody's talking about hairdressers. I mean, people have become obsessed with their color and their roots and their, I mean, it was something nobody anticipated, how desperate everybody would get. And the hairdressers, what's going to happen with you guys? I know you're the last phase, and you've obviously lost a huge amount of business in the last few months. So what's your prediction?
I know it's kind of, you know, in one side of things, it's kind of worrying, and, you know, and then I see, you know, there's light in a very dark tunnel here, isn't it? You know, there's a great amount of opportunity for people to kind of reset, self-reflect on what they've been doing. I think the COVID thing in business for us, I mean, we're the second to last phase. I believe once we comply with the PPE regulations, I certainly think we can operate. We can operate sooner than phase 4. I'm pretty confident, but I don't think the government will issue, you know, to bring it forward and, you know, to phase 3 or phase 2, for instance. I am very optimistic that the whole industry can comply with the PPE regulations and comply with that successfully, so we can operate. I just think coming out of this, we will emerge as a different business. We'll definitely emerge as a different business. I think clients love, you know, people love to go into an environment where, you know, they you know, it's like a team environment. It's like, I mean, where we are, it's a professional environment, and it's a team, and it's a great buzz. People like come from all over Ireland to come into the salon. It's almost like a networking. It's like a community.
It's our therapy, Paul.
It's therapy. It's therapy. But we love it. I mean, every guest that comes into the salon is like welcomed like with open arms. I mean, obviously we can't do that now. It'll be, you know, a very much a, you know.
Yes, I know. Namaste. Exactly.
Environment. So I guess we are very much, we work in close proximities. We're quite an emotional environment to work in, because everybody's hugging, and so that will change, obviously.
Yes, but, no more coffees, no more magazines, none of all that's gone. So it's going to be a totally different experience.
That's all gone. No iPads, nothing that you can touch in there realistically. People come in. I mean, how we are going to operate and how we've positioned ourselves at the moment is, as a business, we've had to do 2 split shifts. We've split the team in half. So we've got 6 hours in the morning and 6 hours in the evening. So we're going to be operating a 12-hour day. So we'll have like the red team in the morning, blue team in the afternoon, say for instance, and then we'll reverse those shifts every week. For the foreseeable, we don't know. I mean, government could issue, you know, a different protocol, which we will comply with, but we're trying to plan ahead and trying to offer a solution to, you know, integrating back into the easing, you know, so we've got a 6 hour in the morning, and we're doing longer appointment times for the moment. Mm-hmm. So we've got time with people, so that the salon environment won't have that buzzy feel anymore. Mm-hmm. It'll be very much like a quiet environment.
Right.
You know, very much inclusive, you know, in the same procedures and the same services, well, without coffees and teas. I mean,
And Paul, tell me, you also do hairdressing training, am I right? Online training. Is
we
that
do.
something that you think you might prefer to near? Is it like we have shops in the charity shops, and you're looking at them now thinking the amount of, I don't mean the work that's got to go into it, but like, should we be looking at a different way forward, is my point. Like, is retail going to nearly become so impossible with this? Or do you think, can you see yourself developing in a different way, really? Can you see yourself, or do you want to stay, will you always want to be the hairdresser?
You talking about me personally?
I'm talking about you personally, yeah.
Myself personally, I've always liked the sort of working in a community. I love my community on Drury Street and Stephen Street, around the area, Dublin 2 area. I love the environment that we work in, and I love meeting people. So I will always have my foot in the door with salons. I love that environment.
Okay. Yeah.
I truly believe, I mean, there's a lot of hairdressers out there right now who are really, very much worrying about the black market hairdressing.
Yeah.
I totally sympathize with that. And I can totally see that, could emerge and could happen.
Yeah.
But that could be for a short period of time. I mean, you tell me yourself, Debbie. I mean, you like going into a place, you like going into, like, leaving your home and going to somewhere and, maybe spending some hours downtown, doing a bit of shopping.
Joys of my life. One of the joys of my life.
So I think my answer is there. I think we as a society and human nature, we try to bounce back into the ways we used to do things before. And I think, like, okay, the social distancing will take part and we will adapt to that. Yeah. But I think retail will always be there. They may not turn over as much money as what they used to, with all coming through the shops. Restaurants may struggle, and the pubs will struggle also for a temporary period. But I'm very optimistic in the future of what will happen. I mean, this is for a period of time. Yeah.
I just heard Mary Robinson was on this morning with Miriam O'Callaghan, and she's fabulous. I mean, she's got a fabulous mind, brain, and she was talking about the fact that she won't be traveling. She's not going to be traveling much anymore. She's a member of these elders, these elders in the world. They're kind of the cleverest people on the planet. I think Nelson Mandela set it up, and she's the chair of it now. And she was saying that, like, through Zoom, she's just going to stop traveling because of the damage to the climate. And I mean, she did say that COVID was not what we needed, but it gave us the kick of the ass that the world needed, because she's obsessed with climate change and the damage that we were doing to our planet. And we were doing nothing about it. We were all kind of talking about it and chirping about it and separating our rubbish. But in general, we were still flying everywhere. We were guzzling oil. We were all the things that we shouldn't have been doing. And she was saying that it's a shame that it took COVID to bring us all down to this. And she was talking about the fact that we're going to have to make massive changes in the way we live in order to protect our planet, So we are definitely, I mean, travel would have been very much part of your life as well. I mean, you're popping to London all the time. And so all of that will be huge changes.
It will be a huge change. And, what does the future lie for, the travel companies, tourism and the airline companies? I mean, are the seats on the plane going to become a lot more expensive all of a sudden now? Because all of a sudden we were flying that often that they've reduced the prices. So hopefully those prices don't come up, because we do fly hairdressers in to film them live. So we do that. But we've got great educators in Ireland that we can really work with. I mean, there's some magnificent hairdressers that we can work with. But I generally do believe, I love what you said there about the travel and the atmosphere and everything being affected by what we have been doing and abusing it to a certain extent. Maybe was Mother Nature telling us to stop what you're doing, There is an optimistic side to that.
Was she? It's amazing, really. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was your magnificent art. You're fabulous. I'm just looking behind you there. You have a piece on the left, which is your own. In fact, it looks creamy from where I'm looking at it, but actually it's gold. Am I right? It's gold leaf.
It's a gold leaf painting, yes.
My God, how beautiful is that?
Yeah, it's
Paul, you're so talented. Your art is
one of my babies. One of my babies. And this one on the the left of me, on the right of you,
Yeah.
is a Kevin Sharkey painting, which is he's an absolutely extraordinary artist. I love his work.
I do too. I
It's
absolutely
good
love his
modern
work.
art, grip art. I love that motion art. There's many names for it, but there's
Yeah. Oh, he's fabulous. Some of his pieces were very, I found them very dark and heavy, and you kind of look at them and go, God, he just looked like he literally threw the paint to the page. And then other pieces literally talk to you, I have to say. But Paul, your own stuff is magnificent. Your dad gave you the gold leaf, is that right?
my dad is an artist. He was an
Oh,
artist.
I didn't know. Oh, that's where you got your talent from then.
My dad was a magnificent artist. He used to do portraiture, landscape. I mean, he worked all his life doing that.
Wow.
Portfolio is something to be very, proud about.
Wow, that's.
I mean, he's seen graphic design completely change because he used to handle everything, and then all of a sudden computers took over. So it was coming to the end of his, towards his retirement almost, and then he's seen it completely transform into technology, and technology took over a whole area of a craft, if you like.
Yes, but still, you're still using. Oh, you use oils, Paul? Do you?
I use oils. I use water-based paints. I use gold leaf. This is gold leaf. I use loads of different mediums to create.
I was in the. Here I am dropping names. I was at the Bolshoi Ballet last year. Somebody brought me when I was in Moscow, and they give you a tour beforehand, and they've renovated the. Have you ever been, Paul?
Where?
Have you been to the Bolshoi Ballet in Moscow? The Bolshoi, the big ballet. And it's absolutely the most unbelievable building, like off the scale. And but they renovated it about 5 years ago, and it cost hundreds and hundreds of millions. And I think a lot of it went the wrong way. There was all sorts of controversy over the amount of money it cost. Now it is exquisite, but they have gold leaf. They renovated it the way it had been originally done. So all the gold leaf, which the whole place is covered in gold leaf, was painted on with squirrels' tails. They used squirrels' tails to paint it on because originally, when they put the gold leaf on those buildings, it was put on with squirrels' tails. That's how they use instead of brushes.
Instead of brushes.
Yeah. Now this would have been going back, I suppose, 200, 300 years ago. They were using that, But it's a beautiful. You're a fantastic artist. And can I just ask you something else, Paul? Sophie, actually, who's another big, huge fan of yours, mentioned to me that I think it must be your partner is a fabulous cook, because Sophie said about the photographs. You must have photographs on Instagram, are they? Sophie said the food looks like it's straight out of like a 5-star restaurant in Indonesia somewhere. I assume that's not you.
I am possibly one of the luckiest guys to have a partner like Philippa. Honestly, she is very much health. She's so healthy and organic in every kind of way, and her cooking is absolutely amazing. I'm very, very happy that I have a partner like her.
Oh my God!
The way she shops for food and the way she puts combinations together. But her mother is Japanese, and her mother always tried to take loads of different cultures and foods and mix them and merge them into. So her upbringing was very much a foodie environment. Now we have that environment for our family. It's really, really nice.
Does she eat meat, Paul?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, but we don't eat it all the time. Maybe a few nights a week. Maybe we'd have meat.
Yes.
Have a lot of vegetarian dishes.
Yeah. There was a very good documentary on the other night. Paul Hollywood was in Japan. Did you see it, doing food?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, you have to try and watch it on catch up. It's really, really good, because he kind of went out a bit scathing, thinking like, they can't be that good. And they blew him away completely. It's like artistry. Like, it's like, he can make bread, but he was like a bungling idiot compared to some of the Japanese who were complete masters of their craft,
Completely, and they really take that to the true foundation of who they are as a culture. Like it's remarkable. Family environments and food is a big thing to them. Food culture. The people are amazing. But a lot of people think, like, when you go to Japan, is it just sushi? Is it just fish? It's not at all. Like, there's an array of different foods and different styles of foods that you have to taste. Honestly, before going to Japan, I would do a big amount of research into all the different types of foods and go there and tick all those boxes, because it's a remarkable place to visit.
It's definitely on my bucket list, but the bucket list now has changed slightly because of the whole situation. But hopefully 2021 is going to see a better world, and we'll all be back to some kind of a semi-normal, or whatever, a new normal anyway. So listen to me, if you had a message for the way forward, just to end on that, because if this goes on too long, we can't post it. But what's your message, Paul? What would you be saying to, advising people? I mean, you're a businessman, you're very successful, you're at the top of your game. You're really going through a rocky period at the moment. What's your kind of advice for going forward?
Do you know, my only advice to people now is this will hopefully never, ever happen again. And take this opportunity to spend with your family, rest, and enjoy this time off. And don't worry too much, because we're going to be back in work. Our lives were moving way too fast as they were before. And it's a good time to reset yourself, to rethink, self-reflect and educate yourself. I mean, for me, I've been educating myself, taking a back step, to learn online, to find out how to create a new direction for my online business. So I've been learning a huge amount. I've been reading, studying, and I think it's a great time to do that. And so when we do pull up that curtain and ready to go back to work, we become a better person, a better version of yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody needs to do that. I mean, you can sit there and complain about how things are right now, or you can educate yourself and become a better version of yourself, ready for when those curtains open again.
Well, that's fabulous advice. Thank you very much. And we're dying to get back. Of course, I have another I'm one of those women that has actually 2 hairdressers, but Joe Bell can't stand when I mention Paul Davey's name. It's like it turns purple in the face.
I love Joe Bell. I love Joe Bell. He's a lovely guy.
But anyway, we're all dying to get back into Paul and see you all. And the best of luck getting on your, and also all getting back open and getting back to business.
I know. And I'd like to give you a virtual hug as well. That'd be great.
Oh, well, thanks a million, Paul. Thank you for everything. The best of luck. See you soon. See you soon. Thank you.